So yeah, we are leaving the town of Brownsville now. We've left Hatchie Wildlife Management Area, and we're getting back on the road. We're heading for Hot Springs now. We got to get through Little Rock, Arkansas, and we're heading for Hot Springs, Arkansas. There's a national park there. We should be getting there about 4 o'clock, and we'll spend about 2 or 3, maybe 4 hours there, and then head on after nightfall. Do a couple more hours to get down into Texas. So as we were leaving the area, as we were there, we ran into some people walking their dog, and they asked about the Bigfoot decals, and asked if I was looking for them there, and I told them I wasn't. I was just checking out the area, going through, but there might be some potential followers there. I don't know if they'll look it up, but it was cool to talk to somebody there. So my decals definitely raise a lot of questions, so makes me wonder if I actually get somewhere like Falcon, Arkansas, how will they receive it, you know? I hope that they embrace that type of thing, and that they'll be welcoming instead of just saying, not another Bigfoot hunter. But we'll find out, right? We will find out. We're driving through Memphis. Driving through Memphis, yeah. I just attempted to do a parody of a song that I don't know well. So, that's why it flopped, I guess. It looked like on the map we were going over some water. That's why I got this camera out. But, surprise, it's just a dirty old city. Actually, it's kind of cool to drive through Memphis. Traffic isn't that bad. I can't complain about that right now. It's a little clustered earlier, but, I mean, we were in a very concentrated, narrow area. But, yeah, hopefully we can just drive on through Memphis and think about Elvis, I guess. What is that thing? Gosh, that must be like the Illuminati headquarters. No, it's not. It is not. It's Bass Pro Shops. What is that? Ducks Unlimited? Bass Pro Shops? I didn't know they were like with the Illuminati. Well, you learn something every day. Well, bye, Memphis. Looks like we're going over a river right now, but I'm not educated enough in geography to tell you which one it is. But we are definitely going into Arkansas. I'm going to guess that it's the Mississippi River. That is a huge river. Take a look. Mississippi River. That's definitely the first time I read that. Welcome to Arkansas, the natural state. Buckle up for safety. Bandit, buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle, oh wait, your dog. You live life on the edge. Awesome. So we are in the state of the alleged Falcon monster. That's a cool feeling. I think I've been in Arkansas before, but not on Bigfoot business. We're actually going by Falcon though. And my GPS is talking. Let me just make sure I'm not lost. You know how it is. In 1 second you're crossing the Arkansas border, and then the next second you're in Nantucket. Oh wow. What a beautiful natural state. This road is like, got some grooves in it. Going up and down, up and down. Alright. Well, before I get in an accident and die horribly, I'm going to stop recording and drive like a safe, responsible adult. Okay, so we've stopped for a bit in Hot Springs. I didn't anticipate it. I saw National Park and I thought that it was going to be kind of a outdoorsy woodland area. And to my surprise, Hot Springs, the visitor center and everything else is like right in the middle of a historical town. It's like a little micro version of Gatlinburg, and there are a lot of businesses and restaurants and shopping areas and stuff. But then there's a lot of historical stuff too. I didn't really want to go there. All the parking looked kind of crazy, and I was about 30 minutes from the visitor center closing on me, which of course I think about now. The visitor center is closed. But I'm at the campground now, and I think there's some water that comes through. I don't know if I'll see any hot springs or anything like that, but it'd be nice to go out and have a snack with Bandit or something. And then there's another location in the area that I might check out. But I looked up Bigfoot sightings in the area, and there's not a whole lot in this spot. Like, I mean, because it's so close to the city, obviously, Hot Springs National Park has got a pretty good flow of people, and it's not really a woodsy environment. I mean, it's nestled in a city, and there's a stream, and they have a little park setting, but it's not wilderness. And that, as it may be, only about 30 minutes away is the town of Malvern. And in and around Malvern, along the Ouachita River and some of the different waterways and I don't know if they're bogs or swamps or what there are, but there's some different streams and rivers over by that town. And there are a handful of Bigfoot reports in, I guess, this county, or maybe the county just one over. So I thought it was interesting that within a 30-minute drive there are some Bigfoot reports. But we'll get more into that. We'll get more into the whole Bigfoot setting as we traverse closer to Texas. So I don't think we're going to hang out here too much, but we're going to drive up here, and then if the other location's like 10 minutes away, then we'll drive up to that part of the park too. I think it said something about something mountain. So I didn't get a brochure or anything like that, but I guess we're officially in the national park, so it's another one to add to the list of national parks. So in its sense, even if we don't do anything, at least I can say I've been here. So I really thought it was going to be like a series of streams and hot springs and like in a very natural setting, and to come in here and see so much development around it, it's surprising. But that's how hot springs are. I mean, that's a rare treat to find hot springs anywhere. And Hot Springs, North Carolina, was very much the same way. They had been in operation since the 1700s, that particular area. So hot springs, they catch the eye, they catch the attention of early settlers. And I don't know about this national park, but I can probably guess and say that a lot of this stuff has been developed within the last 200, maybe even 300 years. So I would say, well, not 300, but like 250, 200 revolutionary time. I'm not too sure about the discovery of this park, but definitely around the time of the Louisiana Purchase, I would suggest that maybe this stuff has been developed since then. But I mean, this is Hot Springs was a very small town, very small community. This is kind of a big city, big historical city. Still kind of small, relatively speaking, but there's a lot of business and there's a lot of circulation of people, and I don't know. I thought I was going to the woods, and I'm here now, and I'm like, not that it's a bad thing, but maybe not exactly what we're looking for. But we'll get out and we'll enjoy it nonetheless. So we got out and we started walking around this campground, right? We're in the picnic area. A couple of Park Service, I don't know if they were volunteers or employees or who they were, but they were official. They were here being caretakers or whatever it is, and they asked about my truck, and
they were big fans of the whole Bigfoot thing. As I was talking to them, these two women were telling me about a lot of the stuff that goes in and around the Ouachitas, and how a few stories do kind of surface, but locally, immediate area, not a whole lot that they know of. But up in those Ouachitas, they told me a couple of different accounts. And the Ouachitas right now are kind of on fire with Bigfoot activity. And I don't know how I feel about all of it, but it definitely seems like great habitat. And as I was talking to these women, they told me a couple of, I guess not direct but indirect incidents that may have been Bigfoot related. And one of the women mentioned to me about, I think it's maybe Mount Ida, I think is what it was called. There was a teepee-like structure that was made out of sticks, like just a bundle of sticks, kind of like made a very primitive structure in and around Mount Ida. And then she also told me of a time when they were driving along a road, I believe, kind of out in that area, out in that somewhere in the Ouachitas, and there was a tree, a huge tree, violently shaking back and forth. And I guess I didn't ask how big the tree was, but I mean, it wasn't a sapling, it wasn't a small branch, it was the entire tree was swaying. And based off of what she was telling me, I have no idea how to guess, but I mean, she said that she was impressed with the size of the tree and the way that it was moving. And then the other woman in this golf cart, she told me of at one point she heard a scream, and I don't know if she was camping or whatever, or if it's where she lives. She said that she heard what she thought was a Bigfoot scream quite frequently. So I don't know. I mean, what I have learned is now that I'm getting into an area, that I'm getting into the Ouachita Range, and now that more people identify and are aware of Bigfoot, having the Bigfoot mobile helps. You know, it can turn up some strange incidents, and I will record these later. And it's a shame that this was just word of mouth, and I didn't get every little detail. I didn't start interrogating them because they had their business to do, and I didn't want to hold them up. But just knowing that decal on the side of my truck can strike up that conversation, and when you're in the right area, you can gather quite a bit of intel. So I'm looking forward to getting to Caddo Lake, looking forward to getting to Jefferson, and getting to Falcon and other places, because those who are willing to talk about it, I don't know, we'll get some interesting content. And at the end of the day, an eyewitness account is an eyewitness account. I don't know where to go from there, but I mean, it definitely just it's good to hear these people come forward, and they come across, both of them came across as very honest and believable, and they didn't try to say that it was Bigfoot for certain, you know, and they would say, well, at the time, you know, I thought it was a bear, but now I'm thinking about it, you know, the way that it was shaking, you know, maybe it could have been something else too. So they're not too absolute with it being Bigfoot. They didn't seem like obsessed with the idea of Bigfoot, but they just noted some of the strange times and experiences they spent while outdoors in the Ouachitas, and by doing so, they presented us with some I don't know, interesting material that inspires us to continue the pursuit. I don't know. It's funny that the eyewitness accounts and accounts of these second-hand or even Class B encounters where there's no direct eye contact, there's no sighting. They're interesting, and they invigorate, you know, the person in pursuit. But while anecdotal evidence is very prevalent and it's very telling with some of these accounts, what can you do with it? You know, and I think, well, honestly, if you get somewhere and you're hearing enough of it, and you're getting ample amounts of it, then you can start to detect a pattern, and then follow that pattern in your research attempts. And I don't know. I think you have to have that sweet balance between investigating out in the field and investigating in a public setting, because they are related. I mean, you can't have sightings and you can't have a good consensus for the animal's behavior if you don't talk to people who have observed some of it. So I think it's important that you, as a field investigator, to kind of go in and get a good idea of what people are seeing, what people are hearing, and then in turn go out and try to have an encounter with it yourself. So I don't know. This is something that I'm a lot more outspoken. I'm a lot more social with my Bigfoot investigations. In the past, I'd just go out in the woods and look, and guess what? I wouldn't find much because I didn't have leads. I didn't have communication skills to go in the right direction. But that was nice. That was cool, getting to talk to these people, because they did have some strange experiences. And at the end of the day, I don't know if they're Bigfoot related, but it's definitely got my mind racing, and it's got my excitement up. So very cool, very cool.
So right within the town, there's like a mountain with a tower on it. And so like I'm in the middle of the city, but somehow still going up a mountain with trees. This is weird, man. Hot Springs is weird. Almost as weird as the other hot springs in North Carolina. Why are all the hot springs weird? This one's weird because it can't make up its mind if it wants to be in the mountains or in the city. The other one was weird because there were ghost lights and strange things terrorizing the locals. I can't tell which is worse.
So we're at the observation tower on top of the mountain, surrounded by a city. Let's see if we can go up there. Hope I'm going the right way. I think they said there were 2 levels. Whew. Wonder how long it's gonna take to go to the very top. It's like a $7 admission, but I don't know. Might be the best view in the city. Whew. Locked. Now that I think about it, I think there was an elevator. For some reason, I decided not to take it. Now, Bandit is down there, hanging out. Said I had about 20 minutes. It's gonna take, it's gonna take all of that just to get up there. Why, Ron? Why? There was an elevator. And you said it didn't look that tall. I'm an idiot. Oh, what's this? A door. They better be unlocked. Second flight of stairs here. Uh-oh. Thank you.
That you saw that happened.
Took the stairs up, taking the elevator down. Yeah, if it's ever gonna go. So, I was reading about some of this area, some of the hot springs, and they were being used as early as 1807, 1805, really early 1800s. And this was like private use. Somebody had purchased the land, and the hot springs were relatively unknown and not that popular until the Louisiana Purchase, like I thought. And Lewis and Clark started doing expeditions around the Ouachita River and stuff like that. And eventually there was enough interest in the subject and enough people drawn to the springs to, well, make it a national park. So this is creepy. It's dark for some reason. I guess I'm going to go to the first floor, right? Do I get to see anything through this window? Oh, I do! Oh, wow! Neat. So this was kind of a cool spot. I got to climb a really high tower and learn a little bit about the springs. And it's staying there on the window. I got to see that. I gotta get back down to Bandit though, before, I don't know, he does something bandit-ish. This was cool. I got a sticker and a little rock thing, and this was neat. And I'm glad that I took the time to come to Hot Springs and ask about Bigfoot. Add another badge to the Bigfoot mobile. It made it here. You know, I'll be honest, I was kind of skeptical about this at first. The way that this park is in the heart of the city. But just from what I've seen, just the short little glimpse that I got of this place, without visiting the springs and without exploring the historical district, just checking out the tower and spending a few minutes at the campground has been very rewarding, very easygoing, very pleasant. Now we're going to check out this view. So, I think we're going to go to Falcon. It's about 2 hours and 13 minutes away, and it's still kind of on our way closer down to Texas. So I'd kind of like to stop in. I'd like to stop in and see. I was thinking about driving two more hours south anyway to get closer. And I think that, honestly,
you are on the fastest route. You should reach your destination by 8:46 p.m.
If the GPS would stop interrupting me. Honestly, I mean, at 2 hours, I mean, the night is young. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. And to be honest, it's 6:30. And from 2 hours, 2 hours, 13 minutes to get to Falcon, it'd be kind of neat to be there where there are lots of sightings. And I kind of want to get to a Bigfoot area. Honestly, if I get there, you know, I'll drive around the highway and stuff. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I plan on going back and doing a legitimate investigation, but going to Falcon now would give me some type of understanding of the layout, so when I do come back after the conference, you know, I can plan it accordingly. So yeah, we'll maybe drive around there and check it out, and then get back on the road maybe, and heck, I don't know anymore. It'll be dark by the time we get down there. Maybe just roll through Falcon and keep going, and then find a rest area, and then revisit it later. I don't know. I don't know. I got these Bigfoot candies. Look, he's playing a banjo. Isn't that hilarious? And look, there's a little bird there too. He got a suitcase or something. But I'm gonna eat them. So they're shaped like feet. Let me see. I'm trying to drive a winding mountain road while showing you this, which is dumb. But they're shaped like feet and they taste like Swedish fish.